Talk to me.
Information, news, and entertainment on demand.
WSRadio.com.
Welcome to This Week in Marketing, brought to you by the San Diego chapter of the American Marketing Association.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us for another hour of This Week in Marketing. This is your host, Bill Wynn. Joining me, as always, is my colleague, Sam Wheeler. Good morning, Sam.
Morning, Bill.
Today, we're going to be talking about climbing the value ladder, and it's a topic that's not just about it's about rebranding in a way, but it's about purposeful rebranding. It's about trying to play on a different playing field with different competitors and different customers and hopefully different profit margins. So we're going to talk to somebody who's an authority on this topic here in just a second. Before we do that, I want to make sure everyone's aware that our next big event, our big conference of the spring, is the Art of Marketing Conference, scheduled for May 11th at the Crowne Plaza, San Diego, Mission Valley. We're just starting to publish, more information about the event, but definitely save the date, and you can find it on the website as always. Again, May 11th, Art of Marketing. Looking forward to seeing you there. So, back to our topic, climbing the value ladder. Joining us this morning is Amanda Stuckey, who is Vice President of Marketing at ChefWorks. Good morning, Amanda.
Good morning.
So Amanda has graciously agreed to come in and kind of share her brand story with us. So, Amanda, let's start by learning a little bit more about ChefWorks, right? What does ChefWorks do?
Well, actually, ChefWorks is a culinary and hospitality company that manufactures and distributes its own designs to the culinary world. So that means, for those of you who probably don't know what that means that you've got chef coats, chef jackets, you've got server shirts, server aprons, pants, hats, you name it. If you are in the culinary and hospitality industry, we've got something to outfit you.
Okay. And how long has the company been in operation?
The company's actually been in operation in the early 90s. So I think we're embarking on our 22nd, 23rd year.
Okay.
Best kept secret, right?
Yeah. And so where do people buy its products? How does ChefWorks, market, sell, distribute its products?
Yeah. We distribute actually in every channel probably known to man. If you want it right then, we go through distributors. So there are on-the-ground retail companies that resell our product. You can go to our website, which is www.chefworks.com, which has a full selection of items and varieties to choose from, plus our company history and kind of a little bit who we are. We're on the normal channels like Amazon, any type of e-commerce, and then we have a traditional sales channel as well. So you can actually talk to a sales representative and they'll come out and customize your experience to you and your property.
Now, did you say catalog also? Is there actually a printed, do you guys do any print?
We do. We do a little bit of print. I think with the digital age, print's coming less and less important. So while we still want to have print available for those who love that touch and that feel, that actual tactile experience of flipping through a catalog, we have it. But we primarily drive everybody to the website just to get as much information as they possibly can.
Sure. Okay, and so now tell us a little bit about yourself, right? What is your background and how did you end up at ChefWorks?
Oh, gosh. I have a very eclectic background. I've kind of been in a whole bunch of different industries. I've got customer service background, operations background. I've got marketing, sales, you name it. I probably dabbled and played in it. So I came to ChefWorks actually as their customer service manager and program manager. Crazy title, right? Like, how fun is that to put on a business card?
That's a mouthful.
Yeah. Meeting people and saying, hi, I am the customer service, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, so I actually entered into the business with the customer, which I thought was actually very important. Now, I transitioned about a year and a half later into the marketing role, but I felt that coming in as the customer service lead was extremely important in learning that value proposition and also what the customer journey was and what their experience was. And then you take that into the marketing world and you make it better. So that's kind of my very short version of my history and then how I got to be where I am today.
Mm-hmm. Are you a foodie or a fashionista or neither or both?
I'm actually, and God forgive me for this, but I am not a foodie. I grew up in the South, so I'm a steak and potatoes kind of girl. So you put some beef tongue in front of me, and I'm like, not sure about that, but it is actually quite tasty. So yeah, but I do like to dabble in fashion a little bit. I think everybody does, to be quite honest. So I wouldn't say I'm 100% into it, but I like to look good. Who doesn't, right?
Right, sure. Well, we all try, right? Some of us more successful than others.
Yeah, it's very true.
And so tell us then, let's kind of get into the transformation that ChefWorks went through,
Absolutely.
right? So kind of share with our audience that story, if you would.
Yeah. So when I first came into the business, which was about 7 years ago, they were starting to slowly transition. So just to back up, I always end up going to the crutch of the story right before I tell the actual story.
Yeah,
absolutely. I'm so bad at that. So essentially the culinary world has been known to have, it's a traditional world, right? There's blacks and whites. You'll hear that all over the place. I like my traditional whites, it's a prestige, right? Having a white chef coat and wearing it and having a certain value with executive level chef coats with Egyptian cotton, very smooth, very satin, really great coats. There's a prestige to that. So, as the chefs elevate in their career, they're striving to hit that target, right? As we saw new generations start to emerge in the marketplace, which happens to every single industry across the board, right? You start to see a transition in the marketplace, which is what we saw. So what happened was we started to see more organic materials being used. We started to see woods. We started to see greens. We started to see recycled materials, recycled metals, right? All being incorporated into the restaurant and hospitality world, from a design standpoint, from an aesthetic standpoint, to attract that new audience. So we took that as a cue to say, you know what, we should probably make sure that our uniforms align with this trend shift in design. So that went back to our product development teams. We have an on-site product development team that does all of our designs proprietary. They go and source the fabric. We even have our own fabric blends. They came back to us as a marketing department, and we saw that they started incorporating denims and colors and textures and all this amazing stuff that was not normally seen in the chef clothing world. So we decided to take a risk. We saw that trend, and sometimes you have to try, and sometimes you fail, and sometimes you win. And in this case, I think we won out pretty big. So we tackled that and just kind of followed through on what they brought to us.
Was the genesis for this transformation, was it strictly kind of the observations that the team made about what was happening in the real world, or was there did some actual market research go into it?
Oh,
right?
gosh,
did
yeah.
you guys quantify what you were seeing?
Oh, absolutely. We are in constant communication with the chefs, the sous chefs, the up-and-comers, schools, culinary schools. We talk to everybody we possibly can get our hands on, essentially. We're about to embark on a market research project that's going to encompass the entire industry and a bunch of different facets in that industry. But the grassroots, we always talk to the chefs and we ask them, what do you want? What do you need? What do you see? What would you love to see in the industry that you haven't seen? So yeah, there is definitely market research behind it to kind of validate that this was the right way to go. I mean, obviously, we didn't want to take a huge risk and in blind, right? Because that's probably a good recipe for failure. But we did our due diligence. We brought in focus groups. We talked to all different levels of chefs, male and female, to get the feedback we needed to kind of confirm that the direction we were taking was the right one.
Okay.
Yeah.
And were you able to were you able to expand your client base as a result of this? Right? Were you able to bring kind of new people into the family by extending your product offerings? Yes,
absolutely. I do believe that we did. There's traditional culinary, right? Like hotel culinary. There's 5-star dining, which has a certain prestige to it, and by bringing in a more fashion-forward, comfortable, everyday wear feel into the uniforms, it opened up a new market space for us. And we started seeing things like pubs and breweries, mixologists, right, started coming on the map in terms of they weren't bartenders anymore, right? Now they're mixologists, which is amazing. We saw all these doors open to us because we did have more trend-setting uniforms that people wanted to wear every day. We even see some of our chefs wearing our stuff out after they're done with their shifts, right? So that was an absolute confirmation to us that going into that space 100% opened up some more market share to us. Yeah,
and I take it that you still are able to meet the needs of that more traditional sector.
Absolutely.
Right?
It's very important for us to balance that line at the moment, right? Because we do have traditionalists and they will always be traditionalists. You talk to one and they'll tell you, nope, I like my whites, but I occasionally will dabble in something fashionable. But when I'm on the job, and I want to make sure that I'm presentable to my clientele and they come out and speak to my patrons, they're going to put that high-end, super upper echelon coat on to make sure that they're seen in the light that they want to be seen in.
Mm-hmm. So as you guys embarked on this transformation, were there other brands, other kind of success stories you look to for inspiration, or even maybe for what not to do?
Yeah.
Like is there a new Coke story, right, in restaurant fashion?
We did. We actually turned to the more traditional retail fashion. So like the Gaps of the world and Anthropologies of the world, the Gucci's even of the world. You know, we went and looked to see what they were doing to be able to kind of mimic what they're delivering their customers, and we did the same.
Okay, so we'll pause there and come back after the break and continue our conversation about climbing the value ladder with Amanda Stuckey of ChefWorks. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
A podcast or radio show on WS Radio is a great way to create content marketing. Turn prospects into customers into raving fans. Contact Wade at WSRadio.com or call 866-WS-RADIO.
Hi, this is Rob Barnett, CEO and founder of VinVillage.com and the Wine and Dine Show on VinVillage Radio. Do you have a wine, event, product, or service to promote? Then contact VinVillage.com to reach thousands of wine lovers across the country. VinVillage connects like-minded wine enthusiasts with unique and exclusive wines, events, products, and services. To learn more, contact us on VinVillage.com. VinVillage is where wine lovers connect.
I raised $8,000 to build schools for South African children.
After realizing how many people go hungry in San Diego, I now volunteer at a food pantry.
I'm spending the next year doing volunteer projects across 3 countries and helping in ways they designate to be the most helpful.
The WorldLink program at the Joan B. Kroc Institute for Peace and Justice recognizes the potential of youth as agents of social change. Learn how you can help youth become a generation of leaders in action at peace.sandiego.edu.
One person has the power to change the world, impact millions of lives, and leave a legacy for lifetimes to come. That person is you. In the New York Times bestseller, What is Your What? Steve Olsher, award-winning author and founder of the Reinvention Workshop, reveals his proven process that has helped thousands of men and women discover, share, and monetize the one thing they were born to do. Grab your free copy now at www.whatisyourwhat.com/free. That's www.whatisyourwhat.com/free.
Take a break from politics. Tune in and learn something. WS Radio shows are worth your time and are filled with tips and advice. Add us to your lunch routine and we'll give you a meal for your mind.
You take your smartphone almost everywhere you go. Now WSRadio.com can be there too. Search WS Radio in the Play Store for your Android devices or iTunes for Apple and download the WS Radio application. WSRadio.com, on your phone and in your ear everywhere you go. Download the WS Radio application. Do it now. It's very easy. WSRadio.com.
Small businesses are the lifeblood of America's economy. Every Thursday, SBA Radio interviews industry professionals and is dedicated to provide small businesses with timely insights and innovations. Visit www.sbaradio.us for details.
Talk to me.
Information, news, and entertainment on demand.
WSRadio.com.
Welcome to This Week in Marketing, brought to you by the San Diego chapter of the American Marketing Association.
So we're back talking with Amanda Stuckey, Vice President of Marketing at ChefWorks, about climbing the value ladder. Amanda, tell us how then, big picture, how successful has the transformation been, right? Has it driven more profit to the bottom line?
Short answer, yes. Long answer, to give a little bit more detail into that, is we have doubled in sales since we launched this new product line. So for 18 some years, they had really great, consistent, steady growth of the business, which is fantastic. You need that to have a foundation for a business to stay long term, right? And then when we launched the first generation Urban Collection, which is what we like to call this new wave, over the next 4 to 5 years, we saw the total revenue double in those 4 to 5 years. So I would definitely say absolutely we've seen profitability, and it's helped the bottom line.
Great. So let's talk about how great of a change, how large of a change this is to the business overall, right? Like what aspects of the business did it touch?
Well, it actually touched every single aspect of the business. We primarily live in a B2B space, and I do think that the B2B world is a little bit slower to develop and metamorphosize than the B2C world. The B2C world, I swear, is like every single day there's something new coming down the pipeline, right? So to stay on top of it is a massive task. With the B2B world, you still have some leadership that's hanging out in those positions, training their next generation, right, to come up and step into the role. But we still, so the decisions are still somewhat, they kind of straddle traditional and new age, for lack of better words. So from our business standpoint, it touched everything. Our messaging changed dramatically. We started to speak more authentically and more honestly to our audience. We started making sure that we were aware of all the different trends that were happening in the restaurant and the hospitality space. Our customer service changed a little bit. We need to make sure that we ship out quickly. I mean, we're going up against Amazon, for goodness sake, right? So, the marketplace massively changed. So we had to accommodate as well. I think the biggest change, though, was probably the way that we presented, right, the brand and started growing the brand. That was probably the biggest change, at least that affected me and my department. Instead of showing traditional black and whites, right, now we're pushing the envelope and we're showing female servers with their leg cocked up that's on the more fashion style, right? That was something that we actually got a lot of pushback when we initially launched that first generation of chefs going, what is it? My servers don't walk around with their legs up on a chair. What are you trying to do? This isn't the real world of restauranting, So, but what it did was it sold, we wanted to sell the product and we wanted to sell what this product was about, and the fact that it was down to earth, it was more comfortable, it was product that spoke to the audiences that they were trying to attract into their facilities because it was more comfortable to them instead of these, white button-down shirts with vests and ties, and it's very proper. That's not what the new audiences that are coming into these restaurants and hotels, right? The millennials and centennials are in the purchasing world now, right? So when they come into that, they're looking for experience from the moment they touch that brand, right, all the way to the minute that they either leave the brand or stay loyal to it. That's a long customer cycle, Mm-hmm. Long customer journey.
Yeah, and restaurants, like anything in hospitality, they're selling not just a meal but a customer experience, right? The whole thing.
The whole thing, yeah. And anything can go wrong, with this with the new generation. I mean, I have 2 kids, so anything that goes wrong with the next generation, they're automatically off it, right?
Yeah.
Just
and,
boom,
and
done.
they're talking about it online.
Yes,
right.
Yeah.
They're not just quietly going off into the sunset.
No,
right?
they're posting on Yelp and they're posting on their Facebook, right? And they're talking to that world out there that is now readily available, which wasn't readily available, right? Even 10 years ago, it wasn't like that. It's dramatically changed over the years.
Yeah. So that's interesting. You guys look at yourself as an important part of that entire ecosystem, really.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think we play an important role to make sure that those uniforms are a brand extension of that particular property, right?
Yeah.
So we want to make sure that we fit the mold, whatever mold that is, if they're traditional or if they're, coming in the more modern age.
Okay. Awesome. Within ChefWorks, did you guys encounter resistance to making this change? Right? Was it hard to get this battleship turned?
It was. Internally, we had a lot of support from our executive leadership, which I think played a critical key role in making this come a reality. They knew firsthand and foremost that this was a bit of a risk. But our owners, because it's a family-owned business, right? Our owners are risk takers. They really are. They're creative. They're inspiring. They're amazing. They're amazing people. So, and they allow us to take the brand where it needs to go. And they know that sometimes we're gonna knock it out of the park, and they know sometimes not so awesome. So yeah, it absolutely, we got pushback. Our pushback, as I mentioned earlier, actually came from the outside, right? It came from our customers, which is actually a little bit more risky, right? Like if you take the wrong turn and your customers are like, what is going on with that brand? That is not the brand that I fell in love with. What are they doing? They're destroying the brand. That was something that came back to us that maybe made us step back a little bit. But what happened was we got an overwhelming, so the positive response dominated the negative that we got. So that was validation for us that we were going down the right track and we were doing the right thing. And maybe we just don't push the envelope as far yet because we're not quite there. Maybe pull back a little bit. But overall, the response has been overwhelming. We just recently launched 2 booklets that show collections and pairings, a mix and match kind of our products, right? So, for example, if you go to like a Nordstrom's website and you see a total look, I mean, it shows you what the top is, the bottom, the shoes, the hat, the watch, whatever is on that model, it comes as a bundle. So we are mimicking that actually right now to help people and help the culinary world kind of envision what that outfit might look in their property, because they do. They struggle with being able to visualize. If you were just to hand them one shirt and one pair of pants and an apron separately, they can't put it all together for whatever reason. There are some that can, but most of them really like to have that confirmation of it together and going, yep, that'll work, or nope, it won't.
Well, I think there's a reason why those collection kind of publications are so popular, right? And every fashion publication does those, right? Because I think that people want to have that kind of sophisticated look, right? But it's hard for a lot of people to pull that together.
Absolutely.
So I can totally see that.
Yeah, we're not all personal shoppers or fashionistas, right? Like I definitely don't profess to be one. So I think you're absolutely right. Like having that combination helps. It also helps shorten at least from our side, a little on the selfish side, it helps shorten that sales life cycle, right? Because then they actually see that look in their bar or in their hotel, and they're like, absolutely, let's just move forward with it.
Would you say that 100% of your brand's kind of more traditional, more conservative customer, came along for the ride, right? Stuck with the brand, or do you think there was some attrition as you guys kind of transition and your messaging change and your creative change and your catalog looks totally different, right? Did some of those people get alienated and kind of end up thinking, gosh, I can't find in this catalog the stuff that I'm used to seeing is not on the cover. It's not on the first page. So these guys aren't for me anymore.
Yeah, that's an excellent question. And if I'm going to be totally honest, which I always am, I do think that we saw some attrition on that shift. There's some guys and gals out there that are very much traditionalists, and they want that traditional fed to them nonstop, right? From a product standpoint, a branding standpoint. But I think on the adverse, we gained a whole lot more market share and a whole lot more eyeballs on us to say, oh, wait a minute, this isn't just every other culinary uniform brand out there that offers a white coat and black pants or check pants. These guys actually have some other stuff that would help us extend our brand. And, are just comfortable. It's more comfortable. It's, it's breathable. It's trendy. It's checking all the boxes for us. So let's go check. Let's check them out a little bit more. Let's go a little bit deeper with that company. So
yeah. All right, so let's switch gears here and talk more specifically about some of the marketing strategies and tactics that you guys like to make use of, right? So we talked about some of the distribution, right? You guys mostly sell through the website. How do you drive awareness, for example, and conversion, right? What channels do you use? Do you use social media? Are you using other pay-per-click strategies online? What are the channels you guys use?
We actually embark in all of those. And I personally believe that any type of company that's selling an actual commodity has to be in each one of those channels now. It's not we're only going to do PPC and I'm going to dump a bunch of money in PPC and drive people to our website and we're going to convert that way. It has to span across every single channel that there is. Some of the things that we launched when I took over the marketing department was social. Social was something that was not readily used, and we also saw that it wasn't something that our competitors were in either. So perfect opportunity. We jumped on it. We started to expand that, and we noticed that from a culinary and hospitality standpoint, social media marketing ended up getting a lot more coverage on us. We do sponsorships. We do massive sponsorships. We're actually getting ready to head off to South Beach, Miami for South Beach Food and Wine, which actually starts on Thursday this week. Having partnerships like that get us in front of the core audience that we're after. We're after to get in front of those chefs. We want to see those sous chefs. We want to see the rising stars. We want to meet those students that are aspiring to be, the next, Emeril Lagasse, right? So those are the people that we want to get to. We want to get to them ahead of that funnel, not after they've already attached to a brand themselves. So we definitely do PPC, SEO, SEM, all the trigger terms that you hear in marketing. We're in, but I do believe that social is one of our strongest.
Okay, we will continue the channel discussion here after the break. You're listening to This Week in Marketing with San Diego AMA, or AMA San Diego, I should say. Forgot we did our own rebrand. We'll talk more about climbing the value ladder with Amanda Stuckey right after the break.
Securing Our eCity Foundation is a nonprofit organization focused on cybersecurity awareness and education. Formed in 2011, their mission is to enable every San Diegan to live, work, and play safely in the cyber world. For more information, visit securingourecity.org or call 619-630-2444. securingourecity.org, 619-630-2444. securingourecity.org.
Tired of presentations with no impact, no inspiration, and no traction? Do dull speakers have you and your team disengaged and distracted by smartphones? Christopher McAuliffe brings energy, insights, and 2 decades of experience, delivered with punch, humor, and heart. Your team will leave energized, uplifted, and with a sense of purpose. Visit ChristopherMcAuliffe.com to bring some heat to your next speaking engagement. McAuliffe. ChristopherMcAuliffe.com.
Take a break from politics. Tune in and learn something. WS Radio shows are worth your time and are filled with tips and advice. Add us to your lunch routine, and we'll give you a meal for your mind.
Kinja Dixon was crowned the #1 sales executive through hard work, deep thinking, and the revelation of Universal Talk Laws. He now wants to share these lessons with you. Universal Talk Laws are what you need to know and use in business and at home to have successful and effective conversations. Kinja Dixon shares his wisdom, action plans, and wealth. Each book comes with a chance to win $10,000. Find Universal Talk Laws at KinjaDixon.com.
Do you want to be a professional coach? Are you in business trying to make a real difference with people you manage or work with? Have you started a coaching practice that isn't quite getting off the ground? Get the skills you need to be a successful coach today with the Coaches Training Program from Accomplishment Coaching. The Coaches Training Program will show you how to help others focus and be more fulfilled. Whether you want to improve your company's bottom line or create a thriving coaching practice, Accomplishment Coaching can give you the distinctions and practices you need to coach others effectively today. Accomplishment Coaching has spent 6 years developing a cutting-edge coaches training program that will have you ready to coach people professionally in just 12 months, and you don't have to take time off work to do it. To find out more about the coaches training program, just call 1-888-548-6813. That's 1-888-548-6813.
Small businesses are the lifeblood of America's economy. Every Thursday, SBA Radio interviews industry professionals and is dedicated to provide small businesses with timely insights and innovations. Visit www.sbaradio.us for details.
Talk to me.
Information, news, and entertainment on demand.
WSRadio.com.
Welcome to This Week in Marketing, brought to you by the San Diego chapter of the American Marketing Association.
Welcome back. This is Bill Wynn here with Sam Wheeler and Amanda Stuckey of ChefWorks. And we'll get back to our discussion with Amanda in just a moment, right after I remind everyone that our big conference of the spring, Art of Marketing, comes up May 11th. You are starting to see a little bit more information about it from us on the website, on social, on our email channels. So keep an eye out for that and save the date, May 11th, Crowne Plaza, San Diego, Mission Valley. So Amanda, we were talking about your channels a little bit, right?
Yep.
And so I want to talk a little bit more about social if we can, right? And talk about kind of what kind of content you're seeing working there, and if you're able to attribute any growth to that channel?
Oh, gosh. Yeah, absolutely. And I, to right off the bat, I cannot take credit for our social growth. I have two amazing people on my team who have taken this as their baby and have treated it as something that they love every single day. So, and we've had growth. So, for example, Instagram, we all know, is one of the largest growing social channels out there, up against Pinterest, right? Pinterest is also another one that is probably the top growing social vein at the moment. So, at least from a business-to-business standpoint, right? So, with our Instagram, when I started, I don't profess to be I'm just not a social person, to be quite honest with you. So,
I don't know how we were successful in getting you into the studio here.
I know, right? I'm kind of a little bit of a hermit, to be quite honest. Yeah. So, it makes perfect sense that I hired someone who is an absolute social butterfly. She's a beautiful woman, and just really embodies everything that needs to happen. My cow, call out to you. You're awesome and fantastic. So she took over our social drive. She made an entire plan for our social media strategy, and Instagram was the first target that she tackled. We saw upwards of like 2,400% growth on just Instagram as soon as she got her hands into it. Because essentially what we were doing before, which is what I think everybody did, they just posted, we used it as a business channel, but they just posted random things. We would take pictures of our DC and we would take pictures at an event that we were at, but there was no consistency, right? There was no content theme. There was no message or story in social. So what she did was she came in and she started to tell the ChefWorks story through our Instagram channel. And that's when all of a sudden we started growing leaps and bounds. When she took over, we maybe had, maybe 10,000 followers, 11,000 followers. Right now, gosh, I haven't even checked recently. I think we're probably close to 50 or 60. And she's had it for maybe a year and a half, 2 years.
On Instagram?
Just on Instagram.
Well, I'm looking at Facebook, and I'm seeing 138,000 followers here. So you guys are doing something right.
Yes, absolutely. So one of the things that she did as well was, which, I'm learning as we go, as everybody is. I don't profess to know everything. I don't really want to know everything, to be quite honest, right? That's kind of scary. So she decided, after talking about strategy, that each one of these channels is a specific voice of our company. And I think that spoke to our audience. So our Facebook is around kind of like what's happening in the business. We share universal things about the culinary industry, whereas our Instagram is very specific about products. So we're telling people about our product and why our product is better. And we're also giving back to the community. So we have a whole series where we'll post and repost pictures, right, through our hashtags, so hashtag ChefWorks, and also hashtag Find the Fork. So what happens is then if our chefs post those using those hashtags, we'll go and we'll find the best action shots of these chefs and we'll repost them on ours. So essentially re-exposing that chef to our world, right? So if we have this massive audience, what's better to do than to give back to the culinary universe and help them climb that ladder? Like, it's a tough world out there in the culinary. So if we can do anything to help kind of promote that and push that, that's what we do. And we kind of use our social channels to do that. So LinkedIn is also very business oriented. So we talk about our business on those. Twitter is slow growing, but it's a communication tool, really, right? That's the one where we're announcing where we're going to be. We're talking to certain people. We get quotes. It's got to be fast and quick on Twitter, right? Whereas Instagram is really all visual, right? You're attracted by that image. You want to see what's going on. So we've had massive social growth because of her, and it's pretty much it is definitely all attributed to her vision, understanding the company, understanding the culinary world, and then putting pen to paper, right, and making an action plan.
Talk a little bit more about user-generated content, right? The way that she and you kind of incorporate how people are talking about your brand or talking about your products, showing your products, right? How that becomes kind of part of your story. Do you also incorporate in your story things that people are talking about that aren't necessarily specific to your brand?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So the first part of your question, which I believe was, how is user-generated content.
UGC, yeah.
Sorry,
that's
total
right.
tongue-tied here, right? User-generated content helps us promote the brand. And it's actually much more powerful if you use user-generated content, right? Because you end up having brand advocates, right? And brand ambassadors that support your brand and re-authenticize the business, right? If we're claiming that we're authentic, but yet we're not showing anybody in our product that are actually out there grinding day in and day out, then are we really authentic? Or are we just saying we're authentic? So, user-generated content is extremely powerful in that manner where it actually validates the business. So we want to capitalize on that as much as possible. Now, on the flip side, right, in the culinary and hospitality world, like I had mentioned, it's a scrappy world, right? There's a lot of competition in that world, and a lot of hard work and effort goes into moving up that ladder. So anything and any place that a chef or an upcoming, culinary artist or mixologist or any of that matter can get some extra exposure in that world will help them. So it's kind of a giving back to the community at the same time. We want to help those people rise to the top, which also reinstates brand loyalty, right? We hope, right? We can't always be 100% confident. I mean, heck, I'd take anything that's free that's given to me, right? So I'd be rather silly to say like, oh yeah, they're completely brand loyal to us. But I like to think that there is some brand loyalty there when we give back to that community. And then your second question was?
Second question was I think you might have answered it, right? The degree to which you're incorporating conversations that are not specific to your brand.
Yes,
right?
yes. And a lot of the times when we're reposting some of those images, they're talking about their restaurants, they're talking about their dishes, they're talking about what they've done in the community or where they're going to be or where you can find them, right? So that's stuff that's not going to help us. It's going to help that particular person. And we have no problem posting that stuff. It's part of who we are, and it does. It makes us 100. I feel it makes us 100% authentic.
Mm-hmm. To what degree do social issues are big right now?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So to what degree do you find that some of those issues maybe get I don't know if the word is tangled, right? But
overexposed.
Work their way into conversations, right? That you guys are involved with. Is that a concern?
It is, and we actually use a social listening tool to make sure that we have 100% transparency into those conversations that are being tagged as us, because you can't control who tags you, right?
Sure.
Like you got people tagging you all over the place. You could have someone who's trying to push their own product into your stream, right? So we use social listening tools to make sure that the message that we're putting forth and we're regurgitating essentially kind of on social is brand relative, right? And stays to our brand, but also stays to our authenticity. So, I do think that if you are in the social world and you don't have a social listening tool, you need to find one that works for your business. Because that's how conversations can sometimes get started in your own channel, and they get out of control really fast because of the exposure and the easeability of someone just to pop in, search for something, and bam, they've already found a conversation. And now you have, 50 comments, 60, 100, thousands of comments on a topic that you maybe don't really want associated with your brand and your company. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it can be fast and furious for sure.
Yeah,
so,
great insights there. Thank you. Are you guys making use of video in your content?
Oh gosh, that's a sore subject.
Sorry,
it's okay. We want to desperately. We have known for the past 2 to 3 years that video marketing is the fastest growing channel out there. Especially with the millennials and centennials coming online. I mean, my kids, I have a 15-year-old and 11, right? They are constantly on YouTube. Like, there's not a time in the day where they're either on a computer or on some sort of device and they're watching some sort of YouTube video promoting something, right? So, I mean, that just revalidates that we need to be in that video stream. We're just having trouble getting that kicked off. That's all. It all comes down to time and resources. If you don't have the time and the resources, some of the viable business activities that have to be taken care of, like taking care of your clients, are always going to dominate. Sometimes content creation, which is a shame. I mean, it really is. It's a shame, but it is a fact of life and a fact of business. So we still have our pedal to the metal in trying to get that off the ground this year. It's a goal of ours.
Sure.
But sometimes things just have a life of their own, right?
Yeah, understood. You'll get to it. We'll keep our eyes peeled.
Yes.
What kinds of content drive the greatest engagement, do you find?
I think right now email marketing is probably one of our strongest, which is kind of an archaic, to be quite honest, right, form of communication and marketing. And it's overly used a lot too. So, but from a business standpoint, I think that email marketing is probably our biggest engagement, where we see niche marketing going out. Personalization is huge. And when you do that and you trigger those, then we get a massive response back of curiosity, and they start looking at our brand.
Yeah, great. Okay, so we will come back for our final segment here after the break. We'll get more from Amanda Stuckey of ChefWorks. Come back and join us this week in marketing with AMA San Diego.
You take your smartphone almost everywhere you go. Now WSRadio.com can be there too. Search WS Radio in the Play Store for your Android devices or iTunes for Apple, and download the WS Radio application. WSRadio.com, on your phone and in your ear everywhere you go. Download the WS Radio application. Do it now. It's very easy. WSRadio.com.
On the internet, your business's reputation can be unjustly destroyed in an instant. Don't wait for that to happen. Building and marketing your 5-star reputation can increase your business by as much as 19%. Take control of your reputation and have the 5-star reputation you deserve with Reputation Marketing Solutions by DSI Development. Become the go-to company by visiting 5starrepmarketing.com. The number 5starrepmarketing.com.
Nowadays, internet devices are an integral part of your home. Everyone in your family has a smartphone, tablet, or a computer. Life is easier knowing that all your devices are secured and your family can surf the internet carefree. ESET Multi-Device Security Pack does just that. One license for all your devices. With ESET, it's simple to stay protected and save money. Enjoy safer technology with ESET Multi-Device Security Pack at ESET.com. That's ESET.com.
You may have heard me brag about Progressive Medical Center and just how much they've helped me with my health. And Dr. Goli, one thing that you have helped so many people with is migraines.
Unfortunately, there are millions and millions of Americans who are suffering with migraines and headaches, and they're debilitating because it affects the quality of their life, and they cannot function properly. At Progressive, we get to the root cause because we understand that migraines could be caused by nutritional deficiencies, hormonal imbalances, believe it or not, delayed food sensitivities. And once we determine what the real reason is, we put a plan of action together with medication that we get them off slowly, and we put them on an all-natural approach, and the results are amazing.
Incredible. I mean, there's so many people that can say they don't live their lives with migraines anymore thanks to Progressive Medical Center.
And that's what's exciting and rewarding to us as physicians, because we help our patients take control of their health, and that's why they're living well.
Why don't you get a hold of Progressive Medical Center today? Don't live in pain. Don't have migraines anymore. Just go to their website, progressivemedicalcenter.com.
This is your life. Live it well.
Did you know the majority of radio listeners are between the ages of 35 and 54, have a household income of more than $100,000, are classified as executives or professionals, and share the show they listen to? Become part of the Peggy Smedley Show to reach listeners looking for information on connected devices through cost-effective radio commercials or segment sponsorships. Contact us at 630-933-0844 for more information, or visit PeggySmedleyShow.com.
Talk to me.
Information, news, and entertainment on demand.
WSRadio.com.
Welcome to This Week in Marketing, brought to you by the San Diego chapter of the American Marketing Association.
So we're back for our final segment with Amanda Stuckey, Vice President of Marketing at ChefWorks. So Amanda, one of the things that you and I spent some time talking about it as we were first getting acquainted was your passion for creativity, yes, right? And so anybody who looks at your LinkedIn profile is going to see that passion strongly kind of represented there. Share with our audience your passion for creativity.
Oh gosh, that's like opening a can of worms, right?
Yeah.
For me anyway. So I'll try to keep it short, succinct, and to the point. I feel that creativity in marketing is an absolute necessity. And you have to have freedom of creativity, not restricted creativity, which that exists in the B2B world, right? Like, we're a certain company and we have to present ourselves a certain way and we always have to be professional, right? With this new generation coming out, they're incredibly intelligent. Millennials have this horrible, stigma of that they're bad people, and that's such the opposite of what it is. They're creative, they're passionate, they're self-driven, they're amazing, and I think that it's really important to make sure that no matter what generation you're in, that you harness and drive that creative spirit. Creativity is what becomes the message. Creativity is what pushes the envelope. Creativity is what catches the attention of your audience, right? You don't see big brands doing the same thing every single day, right? They're pushing the envelope. They're doing new things. They're incorporating video. They're doing music videos with big music stars into like Adidas and Nike. I mean, this is the type of stuff that changes the landscape of marketing. So I definitely believe in creativity, and I think you should help promote that creative spirit as much and as often as you can.
Embrace it.
Mm-hmm.
Promote
it. Let them go out. Let them, let your people do what they need to do. Go to creative mornings. Go have creative sessions for a couple of hours where you're debating, the use of certain fonts. I mean, even stuff as simple as that will help get the creative juices going. Ask them what they like. What do you like? What would you go after instead of, just kind of doing the same old and sticking with stuff that could work? Because guess what? It might work for now, but eventually it won't work, right? Like, it's a constantly changing and evolving animal is creativity, which makes it so fun, right? It's never the same.
Yeah.
It's never the same.
Yeah. That's awesome. What trends do you see out there that kind of keep you up at night, right? What is it like? What's on the horizon for your business that you, not fear's not the right word, right? But you have to tackle. Right, and it's a matter of finding the time and finding the energy to do that.
Yeah, for us, and I'm sure every business is different, but for us, it's customer analytics, right? So it's that customer intelligence. It's understanding the customer journey. It's really deep diving into that data and figuring out how to serve up the content, right? Because content is king. We all know that. Serve up the content that best suits that end user and that customer, whether it's face-to-face, whether it's online, whether it's through a store or distributor, right? We really need to make sure that we understand what our customer wants and then make sure that we deliver that content that minute, that instant, because you have half a second, right, to capture their attention just to gain their interest to learn more about you, right? That's not even a confirmed like sale or conversion. That's just oh, this is kind of a cool company, or oh, I really like that product. Let me go check it out. Because what do you do? What do you do when you first learn about something new? What do you do?
I explore, but I know that what most people do is research, other sources, right?
Absolutely.
They leave that website, look at Yelp, look at, other reviews. That goes on a ton.
Yeah, you go online, right, which is at your fingertips, and you Google or you go to a trusted site that you know is going to give you what you feel is reliable information.
Some third party.
Yep. And then you research and you research and you research. And if they have all the right things in your checkbox that you tick off, then you go in a little bit deeper, right? Like, I think that's a main difference. That's what keeps me up at night, and what is a huge difference from 10 years ago to now. 10 years ago, it was a face-to-face interaction from a B2B standpoint. Let me come to you. Let me talk to you. Let me show you what we can do. Let me show you our products, touch and feel. Now, even before we get to that phase, you have pre-qualifications that your customers do for you. And you got to make sure that you're on point during that entire journey just to get them in to look at you even further. And that keeps me up at night. And we have a ways to go from a ChefWorks standpoint, but we are well on our way to deep diving ourselves and understanding that journey, which is really exciting. So it's scary and exciting all at the same time.
Yeah.
Right?
And I read somewhere recently that 80+% of the research that goes into a purchasing decision happens away from your website.
It
right?
does.
Has really it's all those other voices people are taking into account.
It is. And you know what? We mentioned social earlier. They jump into your social. They take a look at the conversations happening, in your community and how you're managing your community. And it's so crazy that one small thing or one small conversation or one thing that they don't like will turn them off like immediately. So now granted, you can't be everything to everybody. And if you try, you're going to drive yourself mad, right?
Sure.
But as long as you're authentic and you're true and you stay to that statement, then I think that your business will eventually, survive. Just don't romanticize it, right? The biggest problem is we end up romanticizing our business. So we're the best at this and we're the best at that, but we're really not, right? So it's okay not to be perfect at everything. It's okay to fail because you learn during that process and you learn what your customers like and what they don't like, and that's a lifelong journey. That's something that happens from the moment you are born to the minute that you leave this earth,
Yeah. And I think you make a good point, right? Like in my life experience, I've seen a lot of businesses kind of paralyzed by the idea of trying to be all things to all people, right? And you do kind of have to figure out what you're good at, who your actual customer is, right? What they're really interested in.
Yeah. And concentrate on those strengths, right? Like really, really, really put all your effort into those strengths, because then the weaknesses become less and less and less effective or will affect you. Impactful. Yeah. Thank you.
So you answered my question, what kind of keeps you up at night? The next question is, what kind of has you most excited or optimistic? It might be the same thing, right? You sounded pretty excited about solving that problem.
Yeah, I definitely am a data nerd. Like, I love data. I think data is the next generation of true business decision making. And making data-driven decisions is very important nowadays. And if you don't, then you better get on the bandwagon because you're going to have to. So it is kind of the same. I think the most exciting thing for us though is that this marketplace that we're in is ever changing and ever expanding. And we have such a phenomenal team that surrounds us at ChefWorks, from product development to customer service to our distribution center to our accounting department to our front desk to, you name it, our marketing, our HR, everybody. Everybody is a huge, big family, and we're very nimble. And I think that our nimbleness actually allows us to be able to accommodate the quick shifts in our marketplace. And it's still uncharted, right? It's still uncharted territory for us. I think that we only own a small market share. We're not a big market share owner. So to me, that's super exciting. Like, let's go after it. Let's go kill it. Let's bring it. Let's bring home the bacon, everybody.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Awesome. What as far as your journey at ChefWorks, right, and kind of the achievements that you guys have had there, what are you most proud of?
I think I'm most proud of the fact that that our company takes risks. You know, we're not paralyzed, as you mentioned. We're not paralyzed by trying to be everything to everybody, right? And we take a stance, and we are authentic. Though that's what I'm most proud of. You know, we develop and we attract massively creative people, and we help them grow and develop, and that just that's a soft spot for me. You know, I love seeing that.
Sure. How do you keep up with trends in marketing, especially digital? Right? How do you stay current? How do you educate yourself?
Not very well.
Uh-oh.
Well,
it sounds like you're pretty well versed.
No, I am. I honestly don't give myself enough credit sometimes. I think staying humble is important, to be quite honest. I do a lot of I read a lot, right? I'm constantly reading publications. I read AMA's publications all the time. I'm online.
That was the right answer, by the way.
I take it. Yay, woo! You know, I take courses. There's various websites, LinkedIn. I mean, there's so many digital tools out there to help you learn. You just have to go get it, right? You have to make the time to go do it. And if you don't commit yourself to learning, then it's going to leave you in the dust. So I guess my advice to those listening would be just go and block out an hour and do
Educate yourself. Yep. Well, Amanda, it's been great to have you in the studio. Many thanks for sharing all your insights and experience with our audience.
Well, thank you for having me.
We'll see you next time on This Week in Marketing with AMA San Diego.
Securing Our eCity Foundation is a nonprofit organization focused on cybersecurity awareness and education. Formed in 2011, their mission is to enable every San Diegan to live, work, and play safely in the cyber world. For more information, visit securingourecity.org or call 619-630-2444. Securingourecity.org, 619-630-2444. Securingourecity.org.
Do you want to be a professional coach? Are you in business trying to make a real difference with people you manage or work with? Have you started a coaching practice that isn't quite getting off the ground? Get the skills you need to be a successful coach today with the Coaches Training Program from Accomplishment Coaching. The Coaches Training Program will show you how to help others focus and be more fulfilled. Whether you want to improve your company's bottom line or create a thriving coaching practice, Accomplishment Coaching can give you the distinctions and practices you need to coach others effectively today. Accomplishment Coaching has spent 6 years developing a cutting-edge coaches training program that will have you ready to coach people professionally in just 12 months, and you don't have to take time off work to do it. To find out more about the Coaches Training Program, just call 1-888-548-6813. That's 1-888-548-6813.
Tired of presentations with no impact, no inspiration, and no traction? Do dull speakers have you and your team disengaged and distracted by smartphones? Christopher McAuliffe brings energy, insights, and 2 decades of experience, delivered with punch, humor, and heart. Your team will leave energized, uplifted, and with a sense of purpose. Visit ChristopherMcAuliffe.com to bring some heat to your next speaking engagement. McAuliffe. ChristopherMcAuliffe.com.
Looking to be a successful entrepreneur? The virtual assistant industry continues to be a top choice for those looking to start their own business. The problem can be how to become a virtual assistant. Many turn to the Bible of the VA industry, the book Virtual Assistant, the series, and it's the perfect guide for office managers, executive assistants, and other administrative professionals looking to make the transition from employee to successful business owner. Go to vatheseries.com to get your copy today.
Hi, Scale listener. This is David Finkel, co-host with Jeff Hoffman of Scale Your Business. I wanted to let you know that our newest book, Scale, was just released, and to encourage you to get your copy. The book will give you 7 proven principles to grow your business and get your life back. Scale will help you work less by getting your business to produce more. Get your copy online or at your local bookseller. For more information, visit us online at scaleyourbusinesstoolkit.com.